OBS.
OCD. You know me.
You know me. You know an OCD. Sandra, hello. Welcome back. Another episode of the 3rpg podcast. I had a thought the other day while I was riding the bus, as I tend to do when I'm not plug-lifing. And if you don't know what I mean by that, it isn't what you think it is. It's
I don't know. It's kind of suspicious.
Japan's noisy. And so you have to, like, when you commute, you just put in your earbuds and you just kind of like zone out and you can commute and it's easy, right? Anyway, but sometimes like I purposely don't want to have my earbuds in because I want to think. I want to be in my own thoughts. And I started remembering when back in high school, after we would finish like a session or a large campaign, we would then act as if like we were these studio producers and kind of cast the movie of our game, right? And we'd say, so and so is going to play this one, so and so is going to play this one. And then it kind of occurred to me that I bet if you made a poll of everyone who's done this, which I think is probably like 100% of D&D gamers, they've already imagined their campaign as a movie. This is my hot take that I think 100% of the people who have done this have cast Jeremy Irons in one of the roles.
Oh,
right. I think that they've done it. I mean, yeah. Let's not mention his performance in the original D&D movie, but you know, as an actor, he's great, and he just seems to fit D&D, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
But you almost have to say, like, did Jeremy Irons influence a D&D character, or did the D&D character influence the want to have Jeremy Irons?
Pavlov's Jeremy Irons.
It's just the circle of Jeremy Irons. It's just like
Schrodinger's Jeremy Irons.
There must always be a Jeremy Irons.
There must always be a Jeremy Irons. Well, speaking of talent, we're here today with podcaster, event organizer, gamer, and the host of Games with Dave, Dave Townsend. Dave, welcome to the program.
Yay!
Hey, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad this worked out. And yeah, the time discrepancy is the crazy thing. Because, as you know, I had to take a power nap before this.
Pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Yeah, one time zone in Japan on the West Coast and the East Coast. You're in Maine, I believe.
I am in Maine. Yeah, it is currently like 5 degrees Fahrenheit outside, which I believe is something like negative a lot Celsius. I don't know.
Yes, that's the official.
Negative a lot.
Negative a lot.
It just drops on the mercury drops down and it just says minus a lot.
Just done. I'm done.
It just says Maine. Yeah. What like February in Maine must be a very unique experience, to put it diplomatically.
Unique is a very polite way of saying it. It's dark when you leave for work in the morning, and it's dark when you leave work. Mm-hmm. And it's miserably cold, and there's snow on the ground usually. And yeah, I'm not a fan of winter at all, in case you can't tell. Mm-hmm. And I like the 4 months of spring and summer and fall that we have. And other than that, I basically live on Hoth. And yeah.
The nerd cred is real. We're dropping in a Star Trek. Oh God!
Oh, please put the pitchforks down. He's kidding. If he's not, I will kill him myself.
Oh wow!
It's my inner anarchist, and I think it's like I was actually just a proper mistake, but I think it's born from my inner want to just like make people a little bit annoyed. But anyway, Dave. So like before we begin talking about what you do, I was in preparing for the intro. I was thinking about a way to kind of make a riff on your name, and my first go-to was like The Who. But
there's not the best reference with his reputation.
Oh, right. And it's spelled differently. Anyway, is it like Pete Townshend? But you're
Townsend. He has an H. Yeah,
he's got an H in there.
I am from the end of town, which is basically what my name meant. We lived on the edge of town.
I see.
The poor farmers, and yeah, I have my field of snow. So that's
Can't wait till spring to start selling it.
And from those humble beginnings, you've moved on to the lofty endeavors of interviewing people on YouTube and podcasting.
Yes.
Like the rest
Your
of us.
ancestors are proud.
Look at that boy and what he's done.
Look at that.
Well, speaking about what you've done then, so why don't you tell us a little bit about Games with Dave?
So during COVID, I got really bored, as everybody else, I think, in the world did. And
The 2 years that shall not be mentioned, yes.
yes, I decided, like, initially I was going to start streaming me playing video games. I played a few video games and recorded it to see how it looked. It looked great. And I realized really quick, Dave, you suck at video games. You have the hand-eye coordination of a brick. And I'm like, well, what can you do with all this equipment that you bought? And I'm like, well, you like to talk a lot. You love role-playing games. And I'm like, what if I just interview game designers? And I was like, all right, that's what we're going to do. The first guest that I had was Adventure a Week Games. If you go back and you watch like episode 1 of my show, I interviewed them for, I'm going to screw the name up, the Guide to Spelunking that they put out. And I was so nervous. And now, as you can tell, I just don't really get nerved up. But I'm on like episode, 120 or 130 now. I've lost track because I stopped numbering them. And I have met some cool people, present company included, with Jay and Sandra now. But yeah, it has changed my life profoundly because I was a lot shyer than I am now, than I am now. And I would like look at the camera and be like, hi, welcome to Games with Dave. I'm Dave. And it wasn't quite that bad, but I am definitely over exaggerating. And nowadays, I just love doing it. I've cut way back because I hit kind of a burnout point and stopped doing interviews for a while. So I went from doing 1 to 2 a month to one of my friends who goes by Barry Bright that was like, dude, you need to try doing some more episodes. So in February of 2023 for Zine Quest, which is when we met, I did 27 or 28 episodes in the month of February. It was basically an interview a day because I couldn't leave my house. And I did an interview a day basically and didn't really let that pace down until, well, I wouldn't say the interview a day, but I was doing like 2 a week for a while, and it just hit the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Burnout is real, and you should not do not give up hope on the video game spin-off podcast that you may want to revisit in the future, which is like, failing at games with Dave.
Yeah, failing at games.
And just like, watch me die.
Well, that's what it was. I would play in groups with my friends, and we were playing Star Wars Battlefield. I think it was Star Wars Battlefield or Battlegrounds, whichever it is. Yes, Battlefront. Thank you. I got the name finally. And I would be running around shooting at like the droids or stormtroopers or Ewoks, whatever it was on the screen, missing them by varying degrees of horridness. And just dying. It was like I would respawn, I'd shoot at something, it would shoot me and I'd die. And I was just like, I could definitely, see the humor to that, like watch me dying with Dave or something like that.
Yeah. In a weird way, it's a good metaphor for my comic career as well. All of my jokes, I take a swing at bat every once in a while. They a lot of them don't land, but I keep getting up there. I'm a suffer for the pain.
You hit some home runs, buddy.
Thank you very much. So, in the process, you must have spoken to a lot of great designers. So, I have so many questions. One is, okay, what are some of the stand-up interviews that you had? And two, like for somebody who's looking to maybe start a channel like yours that is interviewing game designers, how did you reach out and find designers, or was it a kind of Field of Dreams situation and then they came to you? Like,
oh no, it was not a Field of Dreams thing at all. I reached out to everybody and anybody I had on my friends list because at the time I was just basically Jaffo. If anybody knows what that means, it's just another bleeping observer in the gaming industry. And I started messaging game designers that were on my friends list because I had added people like, oh, I really like your game, etc. And it's how I have made so many good friends from this. Like people that I would get starstruck from because I loved their games so much and adventures they had written or modules and supplements and whatnot. One of the biggest ones in terms of how many times I've been on the show is Diogo Nogueira, who just got hired as the head game designer, by the way, for White Wolf Publishing, which is pretty cool. But he has been on the show, I believe, 7 times. We just love talking to one another, and we'll sit there and crack up much like you and I will. You've been on a couple times. Now you decided for some crazy reason to have me on here, which may spell doom for you.
Oh no, Dave is a curse.
Dying with Dave
no,
in real time.
I'm just saying,
Dying
with Dave has spread. It's like I'm like the upside down from Stranger Things. I just slowly spread into.
Yeah.
But no, it's I love doing it. And you said any advice for people wanting to get into it?
Well, if you have any, that would be interesting. If somebody wants to think about starting their own kind of review channel, I know as a designer myself, finding reviewers, there's like an interesting kind of symbiotic relationship between like the creatives and the designers, and sort of like being connected with them is part of it. And it's all community building. It's who you know and who you're talking to and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep. Well, it's the rising tide lifts all ships.
That's
it really does in this community, and that's what I love so much about it is spreading the word of gaming. I'm like the town crier mixed with the court jester at times, and I think it's just so important to get indie games out there because there are companies that monopolize the
Hasbro and WotC really kind of like just everyone knows D&D.
Yeah, like that. They're really the biggest one that monopolize, I guess you would say, the eye line of people. Like whenever anybody brings up role-playing games, 9 times out of 10, they don't say, "Do you play role-playing games?" It's, "Do you play Dungeons and Dragons?"
D&D. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and for me, I want to get it so people are like, "Do you play Tapestry?" or something like that. And, "Oh, do you play DCC or do you play OSE?" And there's just so much more out there, and I've kind of taken it upon myself to try to slowly feed those games to people.
Well, you are potentially one of the avatars that's made the shift, because I do think there has been a shift.
Yeah.
Certainly under Hasbro's kind of watch, the reputation of D&D isn't what it sort of used to be in a way, and people have gravitated to more indie stuff. I think more and more over the years. I mean, Zine Quest and Zine Month is like a huge success, huge, and because of that, I've been able to produce several of my Tapestry, as you mentioned, being one of them, designed by my colleague Stephen Case and I and the other members of Tanuki. But yeah, Sandra, do you want to jump in here? Do you have any questions for Dave about the YouTube channel first?
First, I just wanted to kind of throw in that I definitely think that you're right about the trend, because a lot of the conventions that I'm going to, you see a huge decentralization of D&D, in fact, especially like, when I'm doing like panel selections, things like that. There's always a section for, do you want to host games and things? And some of them, you don't even see D&D as the first selection now. So
Yeah.
I'm like, anything that kind of helps give these, indie ideas like that kind of leg up is so huge, because D&D definitely like lost some of that like fan love, again, Hasbro, whatnot. But so I just have to like absolutely say thank you for giving those forums to every form of indie. Yeah, because it's huge, especially when there's a little like break in the wall to let people in. It's huge, and it's making a very big difference.
Well, we failed to mention that Dave is also doubles as the Kool-Aid man, literally breaking through walls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I should go grab my red sweatshirt right now and just run towards the camera.
So one thing you said earlier was specifically about burnout. And I feel like every creative, no matter like whether you're an artist, a writer, game designer, content creator, you hit burnout. It's almost like inevitable.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be super helpful for any of our listeners to know like what you did to kind of overcome it, because burnout really does end careers and ideas. And so if you have some suggestions about what you did, that would be amazing.
I was just going to quip that burnout. It's just like imagining like looking at a kids park and seeing kids playing, and then you're always going to see that one kid who's just reached his limit and just stops. And they got the little toy truck or whatever, like a little dump truck, and they just stand there and just they just drop the toy and their head goes down. Like, give that kid a package of raisins or whatever to pep him back up again. Get him back in. You gotta cut me, Mick. You gotta cut me. Okay.
You just need some sugar, little Billy. Get on there.
Mickey.
Oh, we derailed.
Do you remember your answer now, Dave? After that? Okay.
I do. Honestly, what it took for me to get back into it was missing it. And because I went from basically, I want to say the end of March, April, maybe May, somewhere in that time range, up until about a month and a half ago, without doing an interview. And you have to want to do it. That's one of the things. It's not something that you can just whimsically, I guess, do. You have to really have your heart into it. And I didn't, there's a lot of reasons. One being I lost my dad at the beginning of the year, and he was my biggest fan. He would watch every episode, and I would get a text after, and he's like, "You said too much," or "It was a great episode, but you did this. You should try to fix this." So he was also like my biggest critic as well as my biggest fan. But when I lost him, it felt hollow, and I kept pushing and pushing, and all my friends were like, "Dude, you're gonna hit the wall if you keep doing this." And I'm like, "Nah, I've got this. Don't worry about me." And then the Kool-Aid ran out of the jug, and I just hit the wall, and the jug shattered. And I was just like, I was done. And it was like it's like everything went from color to black and white. But then the color slowly started coming back onto the screen, like rising from the bottom up. And I'm like, man, I miss talking with designers and my friends and all these people that I've met. And I was just like, all right, here we go, buddy. We're going to do this again. And, it's even today I had someone tag me in a post. It was like, "Oh, you should talk to Dave Townsend." They're like, "Oh, I love talking with him, but he retired his show." And I was like, "Oh no, buddy, I'm back." And I almost posted a GIF of John Wick being like, "Yeah, I'd say I'm back." And I was gonna do it, and I just decided to be like, "No, I'm back." And I've got this John Baltusberger, who writes horror novels and does a bunch of Mork Borg stuff. We're going to get back together, and he's going to come back on the show. And I can't wait to talk to him again, because we had a great time just joking around and laughing. And that's what a lot of my show really is just trying to have fun. And yeah, now I forgot my answer because I just kind of rambled on for about 45 seconds.
Let me extrapolate a little bit about what you said, because in your situation, due to your unfortunate loss, you were like less compelled to record, but then you found that because you missed it so much, it brought you back to it. And so if people are feeling a little bit of burnout, I suppose what one can do then is to just try to find that thing that you loved about it. Like in your case, it was just having that conversation, building that community, talking with people who are creatives and you know, in making contacts in that way that help to kind of fill a void or something like that. So just remembering what you love and staying where you love. So don't be chasing the dragon, or as it were, or whatever, right?
Right. And like I don't think you can do this type of thing without loving what you're doing. And like even before we went live, like the three of us just shooting the breeze, you can tell that you two get along great and have a lot of fun doing this together.
I did threaten Jay's life, though.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes he deserves it. He deserves it. You know?
It just keeps them in line.
Yeah. And, but
you gotta love it, or you can't do it at all. Tell that to Peppermint Patty.
You know, you do have to enjoy doing it for one. Jay, stop.
You have to enjoy doing it, yeah,
and you have to enjoy doing it. You definitely are throwing me off, which is interesting because it takes a lot to pull my focus away. Oh my goodness!
You have to enjoy doing it, and you don't have to mind the smell.
Oh my god. Oh god, Jay, you gotta sneak one of those in every week, don't you? I think you survive on a steady diet of my little like head shakes, you know.
Your crocodile tears.
Let's see. What you got to do is look at him sternly and be like, Jay.
No, he'll
Stop.
laugh. He really laughs.
Yeah, he will. You can already see it coming, and I'm trying not to.
It's my job to derail us. Put us back on the rails.
I really got to the point where I felt empty without it. Like how I was saying when my dad passed, I felt empty doing it without him there, like critiquing my episodes. I just got to the point where I was like, I need to talk to people again. Not that I was like isolated or anything like that, but you know, it's so fun to do. Like this week I interviewed Mike Shea just last night that does the Lazy DM, and he also goes by Sly Flourish, and I had a great time talking with him. And yeah, I just love doing it. That's really all I can say, is it's so much fun to meet all these creative people and pick their brains. And like if I ever get off my tuckus and finish writing one of my zines, and I'm able to apply everything that I've learned from folks, watch out, because it's going to be a crazy zine. And I've only got the one that I am working on. I've actually got about 40 pages, but it's all random tables so far. So
I love a random table. Well, speaking of creative endeavors, we do have something to announce, but we're going to save that for the second half. But before that, let's take a quick little break, and we'll come back to talk a little bit more with Games with Dave and with Dave Townsend of Games with Dave.
With Dave.
Yeah. And we're back with Dave Townsend of Games with Dave. And in the break, you were telling us something really interesting about the counter.
The counter, yeah. I interviewed my friend Michael Sprederman for his Hirelings to Heroes Kickstarter, which just finished. And by the way, Michael, if you're watching, congratulations on funding. Whenever this does air.
Now the real fun begins, and getting the book to the printers. And stuff like that.
It was my first interview back from my hiatus, I guess you would call it. And I started talking, and I just felt so weird doing it that I got to the point where I'm like, so maybe we should and I'm like, I think that's like 37 in 5 minutes, you know. And He's like, I hadn't even noticed, but now that you called it out, I'm seeing you are saying a lot. And I'm like, yeah, I sure am. What should we do? Because that's one of the things, honestly, with live stream games, when people are DMing, they'll be like, and you go into the tavern and see this guy sitting there that's looking at this. And it's like, bro, don't say so many times. So I get on myself even more when I do it. And now I'm going to be overly self-conscious of it tonight. So watch out.
It's hard to do. It's hard to get rid of. When you edit yourself all the time, it becomes a little bit easier. You start noticing yourself doing these tics. But so, well, the reason that, well, one of the reasons you're here is as a creative, and you not only have started Games with Dave, but now in the next few months you have a con that it's local, it's self-made, you've made it, right?
Yeah.
And please correct me if I've got this pronunciation wrong. It's the Katadancon.
Very, 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 very close. You had a little pause at the end, but it is Katadancon. And it's actually, I named it after a mountain that's about 6 hours away from where the convention is being held. But the reason being, hiking that mountain is an adventure unto itself. And my con, I consider that, the climbing the mountain full of adventure. So I looked at it, I'm like, oh, my convention's going to be full of adventure. And there's also I've got to make sure I get the native tribe correct. I believe it were the Abenaki in Maine that developed, well, not developed, but had the belief that there was a cryptid on the mountain that protected it called the Pamola, Pamola. And it's part man, part moose, and part eagle. So it's this big winged moose, and I'm using that as the mascot. And I'm working with this artist named Michael Greer, who is an amazing artist. And he is working on a logo of the Pamola in armor with a D20 mace and a shield with the old Maine state emblem of a pine tree and the North Star to guide adventurers. And I was just talking to Ron Meischker, who is running Page. He is coming up as a guest, and he's kind of been guiding me along with Tom Wilson on ways to get people involved with the convention and whatnot. And I'm already like, what have I done? Kind of like Anakin after he chops off Mace Windu.
All the younglings or whatever.
Yeah. I was thinking it was Order 66, but it wasn't. It was actually before that when he's like, what have I done? But it's a little terrifying because now I've built the page for Katadancon on Facebook from 68 people to 800 or so in like a 3-week time span. And I'm like, oh my God, all these people want to come to my convention now, and I've got to make it work. And I literally just had the idea. I'm like, yeah, I want to run a convention. And so I'm the type of guy, I'm not one of those guys that dilly-dallies. When I get an idea, I just jump. And I don't always think before I jump. And I feel like I'm speared down towards the parachute that's about here, trying to catch up to it. And but it'll all be all right because I've got a lot of awesome people helping me. We mapped out the room today because I'm opening up vendor signups tomorrow. And my fiance, who's very good at puzzles, like looked at the way I was drawing my map of plotting out the rooms, and she's like, "Give me that." And I'm like, okay. And I don't have it right near me, or I would show you. She took a piece of graph paper and perfectly drew like a little map of the biggest room that we've got. That's 12,500 square foot room. We're going to have vendors and gamers in that room. We've got 2 more ancillary rooms that we're going to have like some panels, an auction, more games, and all that going on in. But it's next October. But yeah, I'm excited. And I wish we could fly you over from Japan. both of you to come hang out and have fun.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
If you plan for this to be a yearly con, then at some point maybe we can be there. And this is, by the way, the KATAHDIM
N.
DIN.
KATAHDIN.
DIN. It'll be at the Holiday Inn by the Bay on October 24th and 25th of this year, 2026. And you've got a really large hall for it. So what type of gaming is this con going to focus around? Is this a role-playing con?
Yeah. Indie RPGs are really the focus of it. And there are a lot of folks that are talking about running like AD&D 2nd edition, Hyperborea. I've got one guy that wants to run Delta Green. But I'm like, well, we might have to set that away from, that's going to be an adult-only game for sure, because I don't want some kid like playing in like a Cronenberg level game. And
Start them young.
yeah, it's like I can just see it like, Mommy, this guy's head turned around backwards and like crawled off on a tentacle, and it's like, no, we can't have the kid doing that. But it's indie RPGs, much like my channel. It's going to be the focus of it, and it's going to be a hell of a good time. So.
Do you have a size that you're aiming for, like a number of panels / speakers / people attendees?
Attendees, I would like for a first-year con. I would be beyond thrilled if I hit like 500 to 600 people. I think if I play my cards right, advertise it right, promote it enough, I can definitely hit that. But that's really what has me scared, is just because of the cost involved. I don't want to torpedo myself, so to speak, like my wallet. And I'm like, we've got, like, if I hit like 300 people, it'll be survivable. But ideally, I would be beyond thrilled, and I'm a highly emotional guy. So if I hit 500 or more, you're probably going to find me sitting in the corner at some point, like, I can't believe I did it. And just because that's the way I am. I get really excited about the small victories in life. And, I'm really looking forward to it, because there's a lot of interaction going on the Facebook page, and I love interacting with everyone because I love the gaming community. Like, you've got such a variegation of people and that play games. It's like everybody from every walk of life, creed or whatever, play games. It's like you could have a PhD rocket scientist sitting with a line cook and a kid playing D&D, and it's like, it's the coolest thing how it just brings so many people together. And that's really what I want to do, is just build a really solid community that loves indie games.
It's the sitting on the campfire. We've been doing it since the dawn of man. We just do it now with dice, Mountain Dew, and Domino's pizza or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got little tea light braziers sitting in the middle of the table to act as a campfire. So
any listeners that are interested, that are available on the weekend of the 24th and 25th, that are in this sort of the area of the Holiday Inn by the Bay in Maine, please attend. Details will definitely be down in the show notes. So a few more questions about the con then. So what has been one of the biggest challenges in setting up this conference?
Right now, everything, because I know absolutely nothing about running a convention. I've run disc golf tournaments. I've managed home shows. I've managed.
But that's not stopping you from doing it. You're still like, I'm going for
it. I don't believe in surrendering to that voice in your head that says, "Don't be silly. Don't do this." If I get that voice in my head, I tend to be like, flip up to the middle fingers and charge ahead like the Kool-Aid man, and just be like, oh yeah, and just run towards that wall. You know, I may hit the wall and fall on my face, but I prefer to think that I'm gonna bust through the wall
Yeah.
and pour everybody drinks that's nothing like what the Jim Jones
Jamestown.
Kool-Aid. Yeah. My Kool-Aid will be safe to drink, and
put that on the posters.
You are not going
but
to sell
no,
a single drink at this con.
there's gonna be like people with litmus paper testing all the drinks and everything.
Well, no, but what you're saying is, I think there are so many people who want to create things, or they feel, oh, I don't have a board game group in my community, or I have these ideas, but I don't feel like it's going to be accepted. Like, you're your own worst enemy at that point. Get up, do it, create something, and the audience will appear.
Yeah.
Any listeners out there who are kind of like humming and hawing whether because they have an idea that they're wondering if they should make it or not, make it.
Do it. Yeah. Like, I am very slow when it comes to writing like adventures and stuff because it's not my focal point, I guess you would say. So it's like I was working diligently on my zines, and then I'm like, you know, how cool would it be to run a con? And then the zines kind of got pushed aside, and I just started charging ahead with this. Now, don't let me steer you wrong. I do let fear guide me sometimes. I am terrified of DMing because years ago I was DMing and I had the onset of a mental health issue while I was running a game that hit, and I have not DM'd a game since then. So that's an interesting little factoid of where I have let fear control me. And all my friends are like, dude, you're running a con and you won't DM a game even for yourself. And I'm like, yeah, that is kind of silly. So I've got to again jump out of the plane and chase that parachute towards the ground. And
well, you like to, maybe you prefer producing, you like to be behind the scenes, you like to be the guy that's out there, that is creating a space for other creators to do their thing in, right?
Yeah, it could be, but boy, I do love telling a good story. And we've
No, we have very similar kind of problem there. It's like I write novels, stories, short stories, IP, tie-in fiction, all that for a living. I don't DM because there's some part of the brain to me that I almost need more time to just form the ideas, get them out there. It's like it goes too fast for me, and then I get anxious. So I totally get it. Maybe not for the exact same reasons as you do, but I'm not a good DM, even though I write stories for a living. So I totally
But
get
I bet you are a good DM. Like, that's the thing is, like, I'm a perfectionist. That is my thing. Like, if I want everything to be perfect. And when I was talking with Ron tonight, he's like, well, dude, throw that frickin' idea out the window. He goes, because nothing is going to go perfect with this convention. And I'm like, oh, I know. And that's what's got me so terrified is because I just have to accept that it's not going to be perfect, regardless of how much I want it to be. So, but yeah, if you've got an idea, you've got a dream, anything like that you want to do, man, go for it. Like, don't be afraid. And even though I just told you about me being afraid, ignore that part and go after your dream. You know, it's important to do. You don't want to have regret at any point in your life of like, man, I wish I had done this. Like, I've DM'd, so I can say I have DM'd, but it's not like I'm going to be like, oh man, I wish I had DM'd more when I'm 90. But if I didn't do this con and I hit 90, there's going to be that point where I'm like, man, I really wish I had taken a shot and run that convention to see what it could become.
The Herzl quote is coming to mind. If you will it, it is no dream.
Yeah.
Ooh,
This has been the most like Mark Maron episode of our podcast here. We're like double part like innuendo and as we are getting kind of deeply and like profoundly psychological here with like the questions and the responses. But what we do like to do it's become kind of a little bit of a tradition here at the 3RPG podcast is to end each episode with a little bit of an interview. And so if you're ready to go, we are going to begin with an adaptation of the Inside the Actor Studio / Proust questionnaire. And from there, we will then move into the speed round, which we will like one-word answers to the answers. But first.
Oh, boy, that sounds fun. I smell a trap coming.
No traps at all. No traps at all. Welcome. You're welcome into the open arms, the welcoming bosom of the 3RPG podcast.
I knew you were going to say bosom. I
knew it. It's a great word.
Can't get through an interview without bosom, can we?
Bosom makes breasts Victorian. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to say victorious, because also.
And victorious. So Dave Townsend of Dames with Games and creator of the Katadancon, I will get it right. What is your favorite word?
Can I say it on here? It was actually an honest to God story. The first word that I learned that I use way too frequently. We're gonna take the Christmas story route and say fudge.
Fudge. Okay.
Oh, yep.
Because we used to live next door. See, you keep getting me to go off on these tangents, but when I was a little kid, one of the first words that I learned was the F word, because we lived right next door to a fire station, and I couldn't say truck. And my dad thought it was hilarious to take me out on the porch when the fire trucks would be pulling out. And I would just sit there and go, fudge, 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 fudge. And I guess my mom would get mad at him and basically beat the snot out of him, because she's like, don't teach our son that word. And it has stuck with me ever since.
Too late.
And yeah, it is pre-programmed, because I'm like, I have found the versatility of that word is chef's kiss.
Okay, Dave, so what is your least favorite word?
No.
Nice.
More because of I don't like being told something's impossible. I don't believe anything is impossible. So when someone says you can't do that, not like the no, don't do that, you can't, or stop doing that, or that type of thing, but it's that's impossible sense of it. I hate that, because nothing is impossible. If you can think it, you can do it. It's one of those things. And yeah.
So that, I believe that then leads us into the answer for the next question is, what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Going after it, really, of like just trying to achieve everything that I dream. It's like, I don't want to die with regrets.
Mm-hmm.
What turns you off?
Failure, I guess, would be on my behalf. It's like, I'm one of those guys. I don't like to fail. I understand it's a part of reality, but I am the guy that's dumb enough to fall flat on his face trying to do something and get up and try it again. Fall on my face, get up and try it again. And I can't accept until I am proven to 101% not be able to do something. I will never give up trying to do it. So I guess you would say giving up is something that really turns me off. Like, you've always got to keep trying and keep pushing ahead.
What's your favorite curse word?
Well, we kind of covered that, but mother fudger is a good one. That's a. Do you allow swearing on here? I don't.
Yes, we do.
Okay, well, okay. All right, well,
we are not a kids show podcast.
And I've got a great story for this one too. My now 15-year-old, she's already got a mind and voice of her own, but she was about 2 years old, and we went grocery shopping one day, and I was walking into the house, opened the door, and I tripped on the kick plate, and I said, "Motherfucker," and I dropped the groceries everywhere. And I turn around and she goes, "Motherfucker." And I'm like, "What did you say?" She goes, "Motherfucker, motherfucker, motherfucker." And I started cracking up. I thought it was hilarious. And my fiance at the time was like, "Don't teach her that, because when she goes home to mom, you're going to hear it." And I'm like, "Oh, she won't say it." And the next day, of course, I had taken her back to her mom's that night. And I get a phone call the next morning. What have you been saying around our daughter? And I'm like, what? And she goes, I was leaving for work this morning, and I guess she stopped and finger gunned my ex-wife and said, have a great day at work, motherfucker. And
points for style.
Yeah. So not only did she drop
not gonna
the
lie,
F-bomb,
this kid sounds awesome. Yeah, this kid sounds awesome.
She is awesome. A shout out to her. She just shared her Spotify year-end thing with me. She has the listening age of a 78-year-old. She loves the Doors, the Beatles, and all this music. And I said to her, and I'm like, I'm so glad you don't like a lot of the garbage music that's out there nowadays. And she's like, was that sarcastic? And I'm like, no, it's so cool to me that we have a similar music taste for a commonality between father and daughter. It's so great.
Aww.
All right, Dave, what's the sound or noise that you love?
Farts. I think the sound of a fart is the funniest sound. I could be in a classroom and I'd just hear come from someone, and I would crack the hell up, and it's going to get me in trouble. And I'm a poser when I let one rip. I always have. I think that's where.
So a one-legger, like a one-legger.
Yeah. You gotta own that one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's where my kid got the finger guns concept from. Was just watching Dad fart a lot, and he was like, yeah.
What's the sound or noise that you hate?
Silence. The sound of silence is a great song, but I do not like silence. Which is why I had 69,000 some odd minutes of music time, because I'm usually rocking these bad boys if nobody's home for me to talk to, because I don't like silence. Silence is worse than death to me in my head. If I don't have music or something going, don't like it.
What is a profession other than your own that you would like to attempt?
Astronaut. My inner 5-year-old still kicks in with that. I would love to go to space.
For me, it was dinosaur. No. What's a profession you would not like to try to attempt?
My current one.
Sorry, boss.
No, that was kind of fun to say, but a shit shoveler, someone that has to clean out horse stalls and stuff like that. Because as much as I like farts, the smell of horse shit is atrocious.
And before I ask the final question, and those who know it knows what we're going to jump over to the lightning round. And in this case, we're just going to ask you a bunch of if this or this questions. The mountains or the sea, the day or the night, and all we want is a single word answer, so we can throw as many of them out at you as we can. Sandra, why don't you kick us off here?
All right. Pirate or ninja?
Ninja.
Battle mats or theater of the mind?
Theater of the mind.
Tang or grape juice?
Grape juice.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Would you ski a black diamond or jump from a plane?
Black diamond. I'd never jump from a fucking plane.
Iced tea, sweetened or unsweetened?
Unsweetened.
Oh, I'm following up the same. Coffee or tea, actually.
50-50 split, I'd have to say. On that one.
Okay. We should compare some notes.
Travel abroad or staycation?
Oh, travel abroad.
Desert or mountains for any reason?
Mountains.
Dave, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You got a lot of ball showing up here, kid.
Yes.
Mr. Townsend, thank you so much for being part of the 3RPG podcast. It was great to have you, and I hope this con will be a huge success. Anyone who wants to go, the link will be down in the show notes. please follow it and follow Games with Dave. That also will be down below. Check him out. Like, subscribe, do all that. Go to Maine, play some games.
Thanks for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for coming out here.
Oh, my pleasure.
From farts to peppermint patty to the meaning of life, we've covered it all.
And yet we only scratched the surface.
And we only scratched the surface. Yeah. Lest silence consume us all.
No.
Yeah! Ciao.
Oh yeah, ciao.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. The 3RPG podcast is produced and performed by Sandra Rosner, Chris Takasaki, and Jay Underwood. Music and audio editing, mix, and master is done by Jay Underwood, art by Chris Takasaki. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or have any questions, please email us at 3rpgpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to support the 3RPG podcast, please visit our Patreon or visit our website at www.3rpg.com. That is ttrpgrpg.com.